a few seconds away from switching to the redundant sense sequencer. T-minus 27 seconds. We have gone for redundant set sequencer start. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Years ago today, MTV was born. I would say that it lasted a good 5 years in its prime, and then another 5 years it was pretty good. Today, MTV is trailer park programming. It's Teen Mom 2 and Jackass and all kinds of stupid reality shows. But back in the day, it was the first place that played music videos. In my mind, the music videos have always been around since film started using sound. I would say even back, the first big film that had sound was The Jazz Singer in 1929. And Al Jolson singing in that song was a music video. Any film or TV show that had somebody singing a song, that was essentially a music video. Although MTV thought of it as Richard Lester, who directed A Hard Day's Night for the Beatles, and their song Can't Buy Me Love as the first music video. Something made specifically to be a music video. So they've always been kind of lurking around, but at the time when MTV came out, singers, bands, record company people, cable operators didn't know what a music video was and why people would want to watch a song on television. So it was a pretty hard sell. So when MTV came out, surprisingly, no one watched it because no one had cable. It was August of 1981, and cable was something slow to be, had to be wired all across the United States, and people had to pay for it. And paying for television back then was like paying for water. Who the hell's going to pay for water? Oh, we didn't even get cable television until November of 1983, which was 2 years after MTV started. And the only people in the country that saw the first year of MTV was some people in New Jersey. I don't know how New Jersey people got cable, but whatevs. You think of it as this massive explosion of music videos on MTV, but really no one saw it. And then finally, after a couple years, one of the guys at MTV, he had created a campaign in the 1970s for advertising, and then he also came up, sort of mirrored this campaign with I Want My MTV. And they flew to Paris and they talked to Mick Jagger and they said, can you just stand in front of a wall for 30 seconds and say, I want my MTV? And of course he wanted to be paid for that. And then they got Pete Townsend to do it, and then they got David Bowie to do it, and then the Police, and people fell in. So finally, they started advertising on regular television, and with all these rock stars saying, I want my MTV, and then at the end of the commercial, there was the number for your local cable operator, so you could call them and tell them you want your MTV. And this is actually what happened and how MTV actually got big. And then from there, suddenly everybody had it. The first 5 years of MTV were awesome. MTV VJs, the MTV logos that they would play before music videos, all of their little idents and animated things. They had crazy contests. Once for John Cougar Mellencamp, they gave away a pink house and a pink Jeep. And actually all these people showed up and actually painted the house pink. And then John Cougar, the winner was this woman, and he took her around on his motorcycle and then played with his band in the living room that night, and they had a cookout and all this stuff. And of course, as usual, she ended up selling the house 2 days later. I think they gave away an island. They would fly you to a Van Halen concert in a jet. I think they gave away a town once. It was pretty crazy. It was really fun, actually. The very first video to be played on MTV was Video Killed the Radio Star by The Buggles. The Buggles were a band. The lead singer, the bass player, the songwriter, Trevor Horn, was actually one of the genius producers of the 80s and 90s. And he produced people like Seal. And he's an unbelievable producer, one of my heroes. But the fact that this guy was playing bass and wearing these glasses and singing in the Buggles was kind of crazy. The song was actually written in 1978. So although it's kind of prophetic, they're, before there were even music videos, they're imagining that video actually killed the radio star. It was just, I think, a song they wrote. And then when MTV came on, they saw the title and just played the video. My 10-year-old asked, what does that mean, video killed the radio star? And before MTV, you just had to have a great song and have a great singer and you were on the radio. People didn't necessarily know what you looked like unless you were a big artist that might have been on variety shows on television or whatever. But a lot of times, artists' faces weren't even on album covers. So I can think of, 100 songs that I play every time I have a cookout that are from the 1970s, and I have no idea what those people look like. So along comes video, and suddenly you have to look good. You have to look a certain way. You have to be able to sort of act and have a presence on screen. And suddenly you have these people that were huge in radio before, and I hate to single him out, but somebody like Christopher Cross, who was winning Grammys and having hits, and he had a great voice, and he was kind of unstoppable. And then MTV came along, and it's sort of like, do you want to watch this? Or, you're a 15-year-old girl, are you going to want to watch this? And there was a big difference. And that was sort of the end of Christopher Cross after that. And in the 80s, you either had to look awesome, like beautiful, or weird. Now, there are a lot of artists from the 70s that actually made it over into the 80s. ZZ Top were in their 30s. They had long beards. They were kind of weird looking. In the 70s, they were more like blues, Texas blues, swamp rock. There was no way that they were going to be video stars. But, a video director came along and had them dress in certain outfits, and every video had this crazy old car that was on their album covers as well. And these three hot chicks would get out of the car and, help a guy get a girl or something crazy like that. And they really worked the medium and became huge. Billy Joel did really well. Elton John did really well. Of course, David Bowie did really well. But a lot of these people could have been left behind, like Christopher Cross. Music video didn't always help people get noticed. One of these Sunday jams, I'm going to be doing a song from Billy Squier, and there was actually a music video that he did that ended his career. It was the wrong thing to do at the wrong time, and I'll talk about that more in the future. I won't be doing that song. I'll be doing a different song. Anyways, I loved... I miss all of that old MTV stuff. The first 5 years were just, ZZ Top and Pink Houses from John Cougar Mellencamp and Donna Summer and Michael Jackson when he was actually Michael Jackson. And it was just fun, and the VJs and the whole branding of the whole thing I just loved, and it was sort of innocent. And it's sort of like, when I get in the car, I still listen to the radio. I don't listen to, XM radio or CDs or anything like that, because I like the thought of you don't know what they're going to play next. And, I didn't realize I was in the mood to hear that, or I've been really wanting to hear that for a long time. I like that live aspect as opposed to just, listening to your songs that you want to hear all the time whenever you want. And that's what I loved about MTV. And they could just show you different things you've never seen. And it was really fun. It was a fun time. MTV does still exist, does have reality shows. If you have cable television, you usually get 10 or 20 music video channels. So they have MTV Classic, MTV Hits, MTV Jams, VH1 Classic, BET, and then you can watch music videos on these. There's no VJs, I think there are commercials, but there's no personality to these things. They just show you the videos. It's not fun like it used to be, but it does still exist. So what's coming up next? Next month, I would actually like to do a behind the scenes of how I make these things, on what's involved. I'm actually wrestling with exactly what song I want to do. I have a couple of ideas, but I kind of want to do something that I don't have a lot to say about because it's going to be a lot more involved with actually following me around and how I start these things, and then how I record it on the day, and then how it gets mixed and edited after. So it's going to be kind of involved, but it should be really fun. And then I think down the line, I'd like to talk about, some of the equipment in this room and in more layman's terms to people. And then at some point I was thinking I want to sort of throw some advice out into the world, because I see a lot of parents that are sort of pushing their kids into entertainment and stuff, and I have a couple things to say about that. So, anywho, thank you for joining me for this. Happy birthday, MTV. I can't imagine the 80s without MTV and Atari and, you know, certain things that were just really a lot of fun, and I appreciate it, and I can't believe it's been 40 years. But anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you next month.
Hi, I'm Alan Hunter. I will be with you right after Mark. We'll be covering the latest in music news coast to coast here on MTV Music Television.
I'm Martha Quinn. The music will continue non-stop on MTV Music Television, the newest component of your stereo system. I'll be with you right after Alan.
Well, all right, I'm J.J. Jackson, and I'll be sitting in with the latest video music performances the way they were meant to be. That's in stereo on MTV Music Television. You'll never look at music the same way again.
Hi, I'm Nina Blackwood, and I'll be with you after JJ right here on MTV, the world's first video music channel, all day, all night, in stereo.
This is it. Welcome to MTV Music Television, the world's first 24-hour stereo video music channel. Now, just moments ago, all of the VJs and the crew here at MTV collectively hit our executive producer, Sue Steinberg, over the head with a bottle of champagne, and behold, a new concept is born. The best of TV combined with the best of radio. Your favorite tunes are never too far away anytime you tune in. I'm Mark Goodman, and I'll be here this time every weeknight with the latest concert information and music news. Now, starting right now, you'll never look at music the same way again. We'll be right back to introduce the other VJs and the other folks who are going to be with us on MTV.